Homeschooling gives me a lot of connection and community to a lot of people.
I know how to socialize better because of homeschooling. I mean, the kids are all so nice. I feel like I've really, especially in the past 3 years, I've learned so much without it being like a horrible experience.
I think it's had a really positive effect, honestly. I think it let me develop my critical thinking skills in a way that you don't get in a public school. For the most part, it was like free, hands-on, interactive learning.
I enjoy drawing because expressing my creativity throughout art and being able to create whatever I want. I normally like to tell fantasy stories, maybe sci-fi, but it's hard. Those are harder to write for me. I don't think I could have learned the art ability I have and some of my writing abilities. I feel like I've gotten more of a creative aspect on life.
I'm wearing my Kung Fu shirt right now. It's where I am most of my life. As much as I love team sports and competing, I work better on my own, I think. Not that I can't work in a team, but on my own is really my favorite. And Kung Fu lets me do that. On top of being a really nice community of people, my studio is like a little family.
I didn't have any friends when I was going to my Catholic school. Kids were all like always picking on me. I was getting in fights every day. And there was this knitting shop, and there's a bunch of girls there around my age knitting, and I'm like, oh, I want to go see what that's about. So I joined, and the girls were like, oh, where do you go to school? I'd never say I was homeschooled because my family thought it was like illegal and stuff like that. But these girls, they asked me where I go to school, and I'm like, where do you go to school? And they're like, oh, we're homeschooled. And I'm like, wait, what? Other people are homeschooled?
I think part of the reason I didn't come out earlier, in the homeschooling group that I went to, there were no gender roles. There was nothing for me to revolt against. Kind of gave me an idea that this is how it's going to be all the time. And that's part of what went so badly at a traditional school. Suddenly I was thrust into this community that expected me to act in a very, very certain way if I wanted to be able to interact with the girls. Just trying to be one of the girls and sucking at it. There was something off always. And that didn't make any sense to me until I turned about 15 and met a couple other trans kids. And suddenly hearing their experiences, it kind of gave a voice to what had been going on in my life. I don't know when I would have figured it out if I hadn't gone to traditional school, but I don't think it would have been such an issue.
I wrote a children's book. Where I wrote it was actually a homeschool writing class. And that's probably the place where I realized my love of writing.
A bunch of animators who've made a lot of shows I liked in the past, like Jonan Vasquez, who's made Invader Zim and others. They really inspire me to keep, like drawing and actually pursue a career in comics and animation.
I want to be a teacher. I'm not sure how that will manifest yet. I could see myself working right where I am at my Kung Fu studio for a good chunk of my future. It's a good job and I enjoy it immensely. I love working with kids and I love the physical aspect too. I'd like to spend a few years traveling and teaching English because I am supposedly fluent in English, although over the last couple months that's been getting a little questionable. As my skill in the other languages rise, my native language just kind of drops.
I'm gonna try and get the book published, so that'll be cool.
Well, when I'm still technically being homeschooled, even though I'm attending college classes, on my own I've just kind of learned more about myself and learned about things at the pace I wanted.
When I was homeschooling, when I was being taught by my friends' parents, I was never treated like I was stupid, ever. No matter what we were doing, I was always treated as if, the thoughts in my head were important and I was smart. It's really helpful for, a 14-year-old kid with self-esteem issues to be treated like what you have to say is important.